This is the Cliff Yates Show. Personal growth, motivation, inspiration, and philosophies for a great life.
Hey everybody, this is the Cliff Yates Show. A special treat for you today. I have a great guest, and we're going to talk about communication, which I love talking about, between teens and their parents. And, communication in general is what we can always increase our talent with. Let's bring him right on and find out what he's about. Marcus Higgs, thanks for joining me today.
Hey, Cliff. It's wonderful to be here. Thanks for sharing your platform. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a little, I'm always muting my guests to start out because I have a little intro, and then I cut them off and we start again. It seems to be a habit. I need a little checklist. But where are you at as we do this interview?
You know what? I'm in the Bahamas, Nassau.
Oh my
right
God, that's fantastic. The Bahamas, on a certain island, or whereabouts?
New Providence on the main island.
Okay.
I grew up here. My father's from the Bahamas.
Oh my God, okay.
And my mom's actually from the Philippines. So I got the island in my blood on both sides.
Oh my God, that's great. I have a relative of my mom. He's in Nassau. So I don't know how close that is, but yeah.
That is it. That is, yeah.
That's it? Okay.
The main island is, Nassau, New Providence.
Oh, fantastic. And from what I see, you've done a lot of traveling, right? A lot of countries throughout the world.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to travel. My dad said that's its own education.
Yeah.
Right after getting my communications degree in journalism, I went to South Korea as a missionary teacher, teaching the Bible while teaching English. And then I say my worldview expanded. And while I stopped being a missionary, still had a relationship with the divine and so on, but loved teaching. And went to Saudi Arabia, Spain, Thailand, and now I'm back in Nassau with my aging parents. And yeah, that's and in between did a lot of traveling there too. But I've got to see the world. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And I love that you're really like a presence coach or communication between preteens and parents both. I think it says 10 to 14. And I will be sending people with the link to marcushiggs.com. Is that the best place to find you and your stuff?
Yeah, now been going at it for about 6 years. I'm actually, the plan is to stay in it long enough. I used to teach these fifth graders. There's a good Bible that they sent me.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
And it's filled with Pinterest quotes and like inspirational quotes. And because when I was leaving, they were saying goodbye.
Yeah.
You'll find a whole bunch of stick figures with afros on them. You'll see
oh my God, that's fantastic. Oh, I see it. Yeah. That's great. So do you do most of your coaching and teaching now online, or, through this kind of platform?
So Mr. Rogers said, if you want to help the kids, help the parents.
Yeah.
And I'll say like this, traditional education, it wasn't vibing with me. It wasn't bringing out the best, because that's what education and parenting is. And I'm not knocking it. Whoever is still in the system, more power to you. Anybody who's helping people,
Right.
That said, I want to work specifically with the parents at this formative years. I got my students here, my own personal life. Like, my father was a great man, but being the adult in the room and setting the tone, like the person who sees your insecurities best is yourself, and the next person is your children.
Yeah, right, because they see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to. That's part of my origin story, actually, as well. Being an advocate for teenagers, for what they want and how to enter the conversation and what developmental stage they're at, helping their parents meet them. And also because of the parent-teacher meetings I used to have, man.
Yeah.
Opening up communication, the quality of your communication is directly related to the quality of your life. So
absolutely, man. I carry that flag with everybody, man. Communication is just, and I was reminding myself today, reading. I always reread things, but you cannot not communicate. Even when you think you're not saying anything, you are always communicating, right?
Silence is a form of communication.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, I listened to one of your latest podcasts, and I just loved it because you said some great things. I thought I had it written down, but you said no shame, no blame, no complain, man. I go, man, that's great, man.
You got to recognize your agency. Too many times we give up our power as a creator,
Yeah,
as a collaborator too. So I mean, I believe in higher forces and greater powers, and it's just you were given this
yeah,
to say, hey, what is this? What are you going to bring about it? And I'm here to help you bring it about. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Um, so you can find reasons to complain, but don't stay on it. If you want to be a creator, you got to either choose to
yeah.
be a creator or a victim.
That's right. Yeah. God, I love that. I really, man, that's another one of my mantras. That's why I was anxious to talk with you. Not only because you're coming basically from a Bible based, a foundation, right? A foundation. And I love that you include, you talked about, you're into empowering the kids, but you're bringing the parents along with that task. I think that's important.
Well, a little bit of a switch.
Uh
All
huh.
right.
Okay.
So and and what I do, I say it's BYOB, bring your own beliefs.
Yeah.
Um, I will practice,
Yeah.
and considering studying in Saudi and then learning about Buddhism and so on, like I welcome whatever you want, what you bring, not whatever,
Right.
but I welcome what you bring.
Right.
I see you for what you are. I'm not a person who says I don't see color, or I don't see your person, your country, or anything. However, I see it and it's all beautiful. It's welcome to the
Right.
table. That's
Yeah.
what I say,
Yeah.
right? Um, but I work specifically with the parents,
Oh,
and I
okay.
help
All right.
them keep regulated. I help keep them. So what I do is personal development and
Yep.
life coaching, but I'm working specifically with the parent about
Yeah.
something they care about, and I'm making that connection. Yeah,
Isn't
and
it weird?
and
They have
I,
to. They have to. Not to interrupt you, but of course I did.
you're good. You're
It's
good. You're good.
weird.
You're all good. You're all good.
Hey, it's weird that they have to. Or this is like not part of parent education before they even have children, right? I mean, it just should be mandatory, right?
Well, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Um,
Yeah, you don't know
I
what you
guess
don't.
it's a good life skill to have, being able to. I love how you say it. This is life. I actually study human development
No,
because
I
really
like it.
what
And
I'm
you
doing
said that
is,
before. You said I'm. It's human development. You said that in the last podcast. I love that. Yeah.
and really, when you look at the word parenting and look at the word educate, you may have heard me say this before, but it means to bring forth.
To bring forth.
Um,
Right.
And at every stage, or to develop means to close, like envelope. I'm a language teacher, so I got all of
Yeah.
these. Develop means to close, but D means un. So to
Unclose.
develop means to unclose. Yeah.
Unclose. That makes sense. Okay.
So you have to believe that there's beauty in there, like there's
Right.
something good in there, and you just create the environment for it to flourish.
That's right. You have to have
Now,
a presupposition. There's already beauty in there. We just have to release it.
yeah, yeah. And that's happening at all stages of human development. At each stage, though, it's peculiar because there are different needs or different desires for that particular stage, right?
That makes
And at the
sense. Yeah.
preteen stage, that's when they're transitioning from dependent into independent, and they're trying to figure out themselves. So that's why I decided to focus on this stage of the game.
You have to know that. You have to know that in certain stages, the way the brain has developed is going to be a different way you need to communicate with them, right?
Yeah, yeah. When they're 0 to, let's say, children of 7, they're throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Throwing spaghetti at the wall in the sense of absorbing everything. They're learning, learning, learning. And that's why there's rapid growth in the brain. And then when they enter into adolescence, which would be 10, everybody develops at different stages. But at this stage in adolescence, there's actually pruning. Dan Siegel goes over in his book, Brainstorm.
Yeah.
But we're um, we're selecting on what we're interested in, and we're pruning away parts that aren't we're not using. And again, that's why we're forming our identity there. We're literally losing our brains as teenagers.
Right.
if you could understand what's expected at this developmental phase, it's not that kids are immature adults.
No.
It's rather they're adolescents, and they actually have higher spikes of dopamine in that the highs seem high and the lows seem low while they're trying to
Right.
navigate.
Yeah.
And when you again, when you understand that, you you make space for it. You're more gracious to it, and you validate their feelings more. Um, and it makes the ride a bit more enjoyable for you and them if you understand what you're getting into. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oftentimes we write them off as adults, so just like, oh, they're moody, and so yeah, that's a bit of the work I do.
Yeah. And actually, it's weird because actually what's happening is normal. The brain is actually working just right. It's always deleting, distorting, and something else I know the brain is always doing to be more efficient. And even as a teen, right, it's doing those things. It's deciding this is no longer important, and it starts to switch focus, right? I'm learning from you already.
We learn something from everyone. And
Yeah.
the thing, though, is right while the brain is doing that, because this is their first go around at doing this, meaning teenagers or preteens,
Yeah.
they're thinking, "What's wrong with me?"
Correct. Yes.
And we got the fireworks with the Mac.
Oh, I don't know what happened
Saw
there.
that.
Oh, I don't know what happened there. Yeah. Oh, we'll take it.
No,
Yeah.
I,
Oh, it's
we'll
a
take
voice
it, we'll
thing.
take it.
It's a voice thing, and it goes, yeah, all right. Yeah. I love it.
but when teenagers think, "What's wrong with me?" Right?
Yes.
We can help change the narrative. We are the stories we tell ourselves, but we can help change the narrative to say, "Hey, nothing's wrong with you. You're just growing, and I'm with you to support you in solving this problem."
Yeah. I learned that in adult communication, instead of saying maybe to your wife or husband, is saying, what's wrong with you, as if there's something wrong with you. No, what's troubling you? Change the question, right? Do you do that with kids too?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, words don't have meaning, but people have meanings for words.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
But but that said, like, e- the words you use are very important. Our words create our world. I honestly believe that.
Yeah.
And instead of, yeah, what's wrong with you, or you'd say what happened, like you feel something towards what happened. So let's talk about your subjective space or how you feel about it, and it's valid, yeah.
Yeah. I always
And it's
say,
not something wrong with you. Yeah, go on.
no, it's something that's wrong, maybe not with you. And you shouldn't be sending that message to your brain. Right. And my view is always that I've learned from other people is your brain will always answer the question you ask it because it won't argue with you. It'll look for an answer. So if you say, why am I so stupid? It's going to look for a reason why you're so stupid. So you got to change the question, what's good about this? Or what can I learn from this? So it's the power of questions is so great, isn't it?
Yeah. Right when you ask a question, your brain does one thing. It tries to answer that question.
That's right. It doesn't argue with you. It's not going to say you're not stupid. It's going to try to answer it for you. And so change the question, and your brain's going to take a whole new, different focus. And that's how we can empower ourselves. And I think it's so great you're doing that with kids because when you start learning that early, you don't have to wait and go through a whole lot of troubles to find out that you needed to get there in the first place.
Mind you, you're still going to go through stressors, right?
Correct. Yeah.
At your age, life is all about learning how to manage stress.
Yes.
And there's three particular type of stresses. And this is drawing on the work from Phil Stutz from the Tools and Michael Berry. But there's a stress of maintaining. Life inherently is like
Right.
just to maintain is stressful. 2 is the one that blindsides you, knocks you from out of the blue.
Yeah.
And then the third one is expansive stress. Like in order to grow, you have to push against the resistance. Stephen Pressfield and so on.
Oh, I love Stephen Pressfield. Yeah, and I like what you said in your other podcast. So I guess you work out a lot. That's good. So do I. Because you were making the paradigm. You were saying, just like we do in the gym, right? We can actually break down, and then we rest, and then we build up from that breakdown. But you can't. It can be too much. We can break down too much, and then it's a negative. But if we can do it enough so that the body responds in a positive way, like muscles do, and builds back up. I like that you use that.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's human development in that
Right.
80% stretch zone. And then we oscillate, stretch and then come back, stretch and then come back. That's how
Yeah.
you develop.
I love it, man. And it's an ongoing process. It doesn't have to end. I think a lot of people, as they age, they make it end, and never has to end, right? Like Stephen Pressfield, he's still moving on, man. He's still going at it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really great. So I've have a lot of positive response from the coaching.
Well, these days excuse me, I'm looking for beta testers. So
Uh huh.
those who are listening, um, for July, I have to get some case studies to start building the clientele. I have the framework. Um, the challenge is there, and I know the framework, and I'm also bringing on experts to help fulfill it.
Great.
So reach out if you want to understand the program more, and I could explain more of the program of the show up framework. But
They can go to
so
marcushiggs.com and sign up for that.
yes,
Great.
this is the work I would do inside the classroom,
Yeah.
except I put it into a system, a framework that the parents can use that is more specific and more relevant to their home situation.
Yeah.
Again, because what I want to do is I want to honor and respect the family's wisdom.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, I can know something, but I also want to respect that. Yeah, I want you to put your flavor on it. I'm waiting on the remix, as I say.
Yeah. The remix. I like that. Yeah. And you know what? It makes for a better life for everybody. So not only does it create less stress for the parent, then it's less stress for the kids involved when everybody's communicating better based on an increased knowledge of how we develop and communicate.
Yeah, well, I know from class we call it student choice, student voice, and the whole
Ah,
idea is as you bring yourself to it, you have some buy-in, and then you're more inclined to pursue with it. And that's the work that I do, quite honestly.
yeah,
I want to recognize you in the development of this because you're worthy of developing. You know what I mean?
right.
So I'll give you the idea and the framework,
Yeah.
but
And this
then
this is the show up
I'm
framework. Is
I'm
that?
waiting on you to
Yeah.
do the work. Yeah,
Show up.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Give me the basis of the framework.
cool. The challenge before we look at the solution is identity breaking. So they're going through the stage where their identity is breaking. Collaborative mistrust. They don't know who to trust at this stage in the game. And the reason is, think about it, right? Everything the parent has been saying has been black and white, like your worldview has been
Yeah.
theirs. And as they're starting to understand their other perspectives, other adults, social media is affecting this, where they're starting to form their identity on the backside of glasses, let's say,
Right.
backside of screens.
Yeah.
And then the final one is emotional management. We already spoke about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's that wall of ice. But in the show up framework, it starts with a strong identity. And
Mm.
starting with a strong identity means we're starting off with virtues and values, quite honestly. Virtues, have you ever heard of the VIA, 24 Virtues in Action?
You were talking about virtues in action on one of your last podcasts that I found interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm not
These are
familiar with
found
it.
in all
No.
cultures. All right.
Yeah.
These are found in all cultures, all religions, all groups of people. To be human, you have virtues because
Right.
really what they are, it's it's the characteristic traits that are working towards well-being for yourself or for others. That could be creativity, could be leadership, could be perseverance. And there's specific virtues that you have that I'm walking around trying to spot and bring your awareness to them, right?
Right.
And then those are the virtues. The second thing are values. That means what you find important. So for me, I find family important. I assume for you, patriotism is important, right? And the thing is, we're surrounded by the red and blue, red, white, and blue. It's all cool.
It's
And the
funny,
thing is,
but
right?
it's funny because I just happen to have, because I'm on an island in our summer place, so I have a nautical flag that just happened to be here for 20 years. And then I had a flag, from like 4th of July or something. But I had somebody on a podcast and they go, wow, that must trigger a lot of people. And I go, I never really thought about that, but I guess. I just didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, I guess.
Man. No, you're all good. You're all good. Well, this is the thing, right? Um, we have different values,
Yeah,
and you could recognize the values. And I'll admit I am American. I'm not the most patriotic, and I appreciate my country. Don't
yeah,
get me wrong. Um, but it's not my biggest value. You know what I mean?
right.
Some people value money, and again, nothing's wrong with the things you value, especially if you're working for the well-being of others, which is your virtues. So now, if I acknowledge your virtues and values and I welcome that to the table,
Yeah,
um, like we can start there to show up.
right.
Start with a
Okay,
strong sense of identity.
gotcha.
All right.
And then trust
Especially
is
while
next,
working,
or trust is next, or
it hold space for collaboration.
collaboration. Yeah,
Yeah, hold space for collaboration. As the parent, you're setting the tone, and again, there's strategy and tactics for that. SHO is opening up communication.
ah,
W is wonder and explore this world together, and that means doing hard things or project-based learning. Um, Again, you're setting the tone as the parent, and you're the moral exemplar, while the kid sets their own thing. SHOW, that's how you unveil your potential.
ah,
And Cliff, yeah, trust is actually in all of this. I believe we're
yeah,
entering into the trust era. It used to be the information age, but now with the advent of AI and so on,
yeah,
trust is the thing that's valued in all of this. Yeah.
yeah. Oh man, that makes so much sense. That is, and is that the 10 to 14? Is that the age? What is the age where people, like you were made reference to it, they start to realize that, they're their own person, right? What age is that where they start to realize I'm separate from the parent? Is that real early or is
Yeah.
that around then?
Well, that's around. Remember, there are windows of development, right?
Yeah,
So in adolescence, you're starting to forge your own identity.
yeah,
So I'm trying to get you at pre-adolescence, like right at the cusp of it, at the beginning, to mitigate a lot of headache later on. But
right.
this is what life is doing continually.
Yeah,
Like you're you're forming your identity. Yeah, that's why it's a formative years in adolescence. There, that's that
right.
10 to 14 pocket.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking, how much do, and I know you talked about, and the kids want to be seen, right? What did you mean by that? They need to be seen, or do you train the parents
Yeah.
to communicate that? I see you, or,
This comes from Dan Siegel's work. He has a book or a practice called Mindsight,
yeah,
and what it is when you're going through emotions or emotions, what they do is they inform us of how our subjective understanding of our well-being, like our opinion of our well-being and how we're traveling through the world. And when you are experiencing something, one definition of crazy is when your expectation on the inside does not match your reality.
right, yeah,
Now, if you have somebody, again, a greater force, higher power, or your parent, because even if you're agnostic or atheist, honestly, I can teach you these ideas, or I can share these ideas with you.
right.
But if you have something that has a perspective of you, and it says, "I understand what you're experiencing.
I love that. I
I
love it.
understand
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I understand what you're going through." Like,
right,
and that's when it says, "I see you." You feel as if you're not alone. Like you can
yeah,
bear this craziness with another person. Oftentimes, that's why we look for peers in our adolescence, because there's that non-judgmental space of, no,
yeah,
I see you, I get it, I get what you're going through,
yeah,
and that's what it means to be seen, right?
yeah.
Now, the way you see others is empathy, actually, and you don't have to agree with a person, but you say,
That's right.
I get why you feel like this. Like
Yeah,
I understand. I understand.
yeah. I like that. That's good. How long does a program usually work with people? How long does it vary, or?
It's a month. Well, Well, like I said, I'm getting beta testers, but
Oh,
how
okay.
I see it now, as I've laid it out, it would be a month where we're going over the concepts,
Uh-huh.
right? Um, and then it's 5 months after that, where you'll have one-to-one calls as you're trying to implement it, and then it'll be a year-long program where you'll be on a, a group calls where you can come and listen and answer questions and so on. So it's a year-long program. Um, 1 month with under, understanding the concepts, and then 6 months of coaching, feedback, back and forth
Yeah.
of actually implementing it. Yeah.
First, you got to adopt the. You got to get the language and understand it, and then the implementation. I can see where it would take a long time because you know people can find the answers to things, but implementation is always the challenge, right?
Yeah, there's information, but implementation is actually what we need, and that's
Yes.
what
Yeah.
coaches do. Um, and then trust is built over time, right?
That's
So
right. Yeah.
little things over time. Yeah.
Little things.
So
That's right.
ideally, that's the kind of program you want.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I love what you said. You said, we kind of work on ourselves, make ourselves better, self improvements, so that we can be of better service to others. I think that's so important. That's why I always say to make yourself better is really not selfish, although in a way it is, but you're doing it in a way to make yourself in service of to others, like sharpening the saw, right? You're working on the saw, but only to better cut down trees, to be more effective,
To be useful,
to
to
be
be of
useful.
use,
I like
and
that.
that's
To
one
be of use.
definition.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
one
like that.
definition of value. Yeah, and that's why you say, as superheroes,
Yeah.
is it that you save the ones you love, or do you save others, or do you save yourself?
Ah,
And
yes.
the answer is you make a choice, and the answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
That's just the
Yeah.
balance of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm I do have to put on my oxygen mask first, but I
That's
put on my
correct.
oxygen mask to be in service to others.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
perfect metaphor that the airlines use. Before you can help anybody else, you got to make sure you're there and functioning to the best of your ability so that you can save your family. That's and it's so understandable, people, because they can, they have a visual of that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
communication, man. It's
Y-
good.
here's well, you didn't ask, but here's one that I love sharing.
Yeah.
Um, Whenever you're in the service industry, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed this as being a teacher. There's actually one reason why I came out the class,
Yeah.
but I got it from a guy named Sean Stevenson. He used to be a
Okay.
short little guy. He was talking about when a helicopter comes out to save people. Who do they fly to first? They have that rope ladder,
Yeah.
and they fly out to a capsized ship.
Yeah.
Who do they fly to first? And this is not a trick question, but when you hear the answer, it makes total sense. Who do they fly to first?
The person in the
Guys.
water. I don't know.
Well, it's a capsized ship. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right,
Yeah.
check it out. Check it
Yeah.
out. um, they don't swim just to anybody in the water.
Ah.
They swim to the person who's swimming towards a ladder.
Okay.
Think about this. You have limited resources of fuel, you have limited resources of time.
Yeah.
You want to swim to the person who is also making an effort to be saved.
Got you. There's kind of a form of
Because if you fly,
triage, right? Yeah.
if you're flying to a person who is not making an effort, you're not sure if you show up 100%, you're not sure if they're going to do their part.
Yeah.
So you go to the person who is swimming towards a ladder.
Yes. Yeah, because the
And
other
and that's
person
it.
could
That's just
be drowned already, could be dead already, and then you've wasted, and then you might end up with tube based on the fact that you didn't triage properly going to the person who's already going towards you. I like it.
and really what that is, that's just a small metaphor in alignment.
Yeah.
Find people who you're aligned with. And again, that's why I said it's BYOB, bring your own beliefs.
Yeah.
The difference between beliefs and values are belief is what you think is true.
Yeah.
And that may shift over time, and I respect that. We can have that conversation. But then value, if you value life, if you value well-being, let's go hard. Let's go fast.
Yeah.
I've found I found jerks and I found lovely people in all religions, in all cultures, in all ideas. And if you value well being, like we're on the same team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on your team, buddy. Yeah, I found that too.
Hey.
I found that too. Yeah, and experiencing all sorts of places, I've found that too. Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, that's so true, man. Yeah, it's funny how when I was in school, I was didn't pay
Mhm.
attention. That was the class clown. I was started my stand up comedian career, and now I think it started when I was about age 55. Right? I can't learn enough. I'm reading like 40 books a year. Now I've cut it down because I'm rereading
Yeah.
books instead of I'm immersing myself and being more present in a book that I really need to read this the third time. It's kind of like biblical, right? As you read the Bible, you're in a different place. So now that same thing you read before has a different meaning to you and different things are revealed to you, right?
It's Heraclides.
Yeah, Heraclides.
Heraclides, yeah,
Yeah,
no person steps into the
the
same
same
river
river twice.
by the
Yeah,
time
that's
you've
right.
taken the sense. Yeah, by the time you've taken the second step, both the river have changed. Hey, look at this right now.
The balloons,
So
I love it.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's no meaning without context, and if your context is always shifting, context is your space and time,
yeah, that's
then
right.
the meaning always shifts. So
Yeah.
yeah.
God, that's exciting, man. I love what you're doing, man. I think you're doing great thing. I think serving others. I always spread this message, man, because every somebody you should be really servant leadership should be your thing, And I go, well, maybe it is because, and I always say, man, it's you get more back, man, than you ever give out when you're helping somebody else and encouraging somebody else. Like I want to encourage you in what you're doing, and it just helps me, and I'm happy for what you're doing. I'm excited when people are teaching, no matter where they are, you can reach people now around the world. Now we have these abilities to, we're able to put this podcast around the world. 10 years ago, you wouldn't have that reach. And now it's up to you. You can be empowered to positively impact people anywhere. I just think it's exciting.
Well, the message is always there, and what technology does, it speeds up
Yeah,
that message.
right.
That's all it does. It
Yeah, that's all
amplifies
it
it.
does. Amplifies. Yeah,
If you think, yeah, that's what an amplifier does. If you think about it, you're sitting there we say words are the arrangements of vibrations.
yeah.
You put a microphone in your mouth. It's just that that message is amplified, and you reach more people. That said, start at the source. Again, start with a strong identity.
Identity is the
And
first part before you get to trust. Identity. Yeah,
and if you know you're acting for the well-being of yourself and for others, go as
that's
hard as you
right.
can.
Yeah. Go as hard as you
Yeah.
can. I like that. Yeah. God, I had another
And
thought there. Yeah.
well, the thing is, other people may not be in alignment with that. And I get that. And that's where the rub is. And that's where conflict happens. And again, conflict, on the other side of conflict, you understand who you truly are. And all relationships are conflict, but that doesn't define the conflict. That doesn't define the relationship. It's how we
Yeah.
manage it.
That's right.
So that's why I still respect you on the other side of the table, on the other side of the
Yeah.
conversation. Like, if you're acting for well-being and we have that common ground, yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. And you know what? It's even whether, and I respect the other person across the table, their viewpoint, but if we're having this discussion, like I was thinking, and you can give me some feedback on this because you're a pastoring, because I've been in the Word for a few years now, but in my own belief, it's like, well, I can't really share this with other people because I'm not of this knowledge. But I'm just reading from somewhere. No, it doesn't matter as long as you start that conversation. It will lead other people to go to other sources to learn more. Or if you don't, you'll learn something from having that discussion with somebody else, and someone off to the side watching the conversation will learn or want to learn more about it. So you start wherever you're at, you can have the conversation and share it. Is that right?
So when I was actually serving as a missionary, I would always say, "He who started this good work in me will see it to completion," and that's the Holy Spirit, right? And
Right.
I'm going about doing what I do in that work, but it's not my work to do.
Right.
Emerson said, "God will not have His work made manifest by cowards." So it's just being
Yeah.
courageous to understand you're moving in your truth, right? And
Right.
again, the way you know you're moving in your truth is by having that connection with the divine, that conversation.
Yeah.
And when others may not see it, it's like how that's being in integrity with yourself, right?
Yeah.
Um, and again, like it's not your work to do. Like do the work in front of you of what is your work, but then
Yeah.
the greater grand work of it is
Yes.
is for something else. Is for something else. Yeah.
No, I was just reading this from an old guru of motivation and self improvement. Paul Meyer was a guy, and when you come to the final realization that your work, when you come to realize that you don't have to be sharing the gospel, doesn't have to be your ministry. Your work, whatever gifts you were given to do, that is your ministry, and that's what you do with all your might, just like you said. I think that was so important.
Yeah, yeah. Your life is your work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's the point he was getting, and that's your ministry. That's you're putting your best into it. You're with all your might. Yeah, and that's going to be your gift to other people.
Hey, well, thank you for sharing the platform, and thank you for the encouragement. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Um,
And I'm going to send people. I'll have your links not only on the podcast platform show notes, but also on the YouTube video description. And then go to marcushiggs.com, and I'll tell you what, he's got a beta program that he wants to get this going with, and so you can sign up for it at marcushiggs.com. I'm gonna give you the final word because I love what you have to say. Great smile, great energy. That's why I wanted you on. And hang around for a bit after the show, and we'll have a little debriefing. Any final words, Marcus?
for sure. You know what? When people ask me at the end of the show, is there something that you'd want to share? That the first is the word is love, spread the word.
Yeah,
But the
that's
second
right.
part is repair and reconnect.
Repair and
Too
reconnect. I love it.
often,
Yeah.
yeah. When we talked about everything that eventually grows must first break,
Yes.
and this is the first identity breaking of the kids in our relationships. Again, as parents, as caregivers, as guardians in their lives, we set the tone, and the way you instill confidence in someone and trust is making right what you made wrong, and that's repair and reconnection. That's as big as a point in human development as everything else.
Yeah.
We will be
Yeah.
stressed, and we're called to repair and reconnect because we're stress progressive. When we are stressed, we expand and we grow. If we repair and reconnect, you're going to say, Cliff?
No, I love. I'm just going to reflect on one of your previous podcasts where you said, that metaphor of the seed breaks the outer shell, breaks through the ground, and continues. That expands. It continues to break to get better and bigger and to grow as much as it can. Right? How big does a tree grow? As big as it can. That's what we were called to do. Grow as much as we can, man. I really appreciate. I got to ask you one more question because your middle name is it Marcus Aurelius? Is he named after the great as the emperor Aurelius?
Yeah. My dad's right here. Yeah. I always keep
Meditations,
close
yeah,
by hand.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. There's one translation, the Emperor's Handbook. Yeah, we do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Marcus Aurelius has dyed or colored a lot of my life. So,
yeah.
yeah.
And what did you? I got to ask you this. It's kind of off topic, but because he was before. Well, he was after Christ, but he wasn't. I don't think exposed too much to Jesus. But yet he talked about God or gods. Do you think that was just implanted in his heart that he knew there was a higher power? Is that kind of where he was at?
Well, in Stoicism, as they practice it, they believed in the Stoic gods, or
Right.
greater forces, higher powers that they didn't give any personification to. So he was about like 131
Right.
AD. So it
Yeah.
was after the fact, and actually, he he saw the Christians as peculiar on the east side, and like he
Yeah.
persecuted them for a time. Yeah, and then a lot of Christian ideas overlapped into Stoicism when Aquinas came
That's
by.
true. Yeah.
So yeah, there
It
was a
was like the
folding of
four
philosophy.
virtues, and then I think Aquinas added like faith, love, and hope or something for the seven. Yeah. Yeah. So great. And I was kind of conflicted at first. I thought I shouldn't be studying philosophy because it's not Christianity. And then I read Aquinas, and he loved Aristotle because he says all truth is God's truth, and it's okay to look at those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Again, that's why I say BYOB, bring your own
bring
faith.
your own
And then
beliefs.
what philosophy really is, being your own beliefs. What philosophy is, it's an approach to living.
That's right.
Um, we every While there are big swaths of philosophy, there are also individual philosophies. There's a cliff philosophy.
Yeah.
There's an approach to living of your unique outlook on life that I respect. I respect your wisdom. Yeah.
And I respect yours, Marcus,
Um,
and I'm going to send people to marcushiggs.com. And if you're a parent, please go there. Get involved in the program. Help him out. He's got a beta program. This thing is going to help parents and kids and communication, and it's going to lead to a better life for all of us. And Marcus, hang around for the debrief. You are awesome.